It's not a PowerPoint. Looky there. So, yeah, I guess welcome to... Maybe this is Connor's English Corner? Maybe it's not. This isn't gonna be my full, like, episode or whatever for the week, or month, or however often I've been doing them at this point. But, I posted a tier list recently, right? In Global and North America. And the... one of the decks I had on there was Persona 5, right? I had the yellow-red build and a yellow-green-blue. Both tiered on there, and people have been asking me for my yellow-green-blue list. I've given it out to some people, I've posted it in the Discords. I haven't really spread the list too heavily, though. I mainly wanted to not give it out everywhere until after Atlanta, because I was planning on potentially playing it, and then I wanted to do a deck profile after I hopefully topped with it. But, so I sent the list to Clinton Chan, 2015 world champion, and the multi-time regional winner, etc. And he gave it to one of his teammates, Vincent Blasco. Congratulations to them for winning Chicago, actually, today. And he played Persona 5, and he played my list. So I figured I'd go ahead and do a video on it now, because people saw that Persona 5 won Chicago and want to know a list, etc. So I'm not doing my normal PowerPoint layout. I'm actually just going to show you guys the cards this time, talk through my choices, etc. Name a couple of cards that were considerations that we didn't put in. I put this list together on the thought of what beats Attack on Titan. The general answer is being bigger than Eren, and not much can actually do that without counters. And I don't feel like relying on drawing into a counter to actually wall out Eren is too strong of a strategy. But this deck actually does not need to draw into its counters unless Eren has 2 globals on board, which isn't super likely. So I'll go ahead and go through my choices. I guess we can start with level 0. Oh boy, my cards just went everywhere. Alright, so starting with level 0, we have 1 copy of Protagonist as Joker, Destiny Awaits. This is the February monthly promo, Case Topper promo, Worlds promo. It is on play. You can look at the top card of your deck and leave it on top or put it on bottom. And second effect is when it gets reversed in battle, you can pay 1, put it into your clock to look at top 2 and add 1 to hand. Put the other one in waiting room. The second effect is nice if we ever do have to field it early game, because it replaces itself. We mainly play this for the first effect, though. On our final turn, we can play this to put a level 2 or 3 or whatever on the bottom of our deck, mill down to it, and when we resolve our Joker level 3s, we know that we're going to be hitting the same card over and over again, and say, like, deal 2 damage 6 times or whatever. So this is good for guaranteeing that. Next, we have 3 copies of the Joker Brainstorm, Protagonist, The Will of Rebellion. When you play an act ability, you can give an extra 500 power, and since this is a wall deck, we're obviously playing backups, so it's a good way to pump a little extra power in. And it's a pay 1, rest 2 Brainstorm to search our deck. And we generate enough stock in this deck that you can pretty much mash this every turn if you need to, and it doesn't really hurt you. Next, we have 4 copies of Swimsuit Protagonist. So, Swimsuit Protagonist is just a generic drop searcher. On play, pay 1, discard 1, search your deck for a thief character, reveal it to your opponent, put it in hand, shuffle. We're playing 4 of these because we actually need like a lot of specific cards going into level 1, and without these, you can't really guarantee that you're going to draw into enough of them. We have 2 copies of Makoto, Phantom Thief of Hearts. So this is the box topper. It's one of the box toppers. It's a 0035, and when your opponent plays a climax, it sends itself to waiting room. So we're playing 2 of these as just extra oversizes, in addition to our runners that I'll show next. The reason I'm playing these over any of the other oversizes, such as the Futaba level 0 or the Yusuke level 0 or anything, is because these kill themselves. The issue with oversizes is that they're hard for your opponent to remove at level 0. But at level 1, they're just free targets for reverse combos. But Makoto sacks herself off if the opponent tries to play a reverse combo, so they can't just farm her. She's also green color fix, and we actually don't really have a ton of green cards in the deck, but we're playing a green stock soul, so we need cards that we can stock. We have 4 copies of Morgana as Mona, the Phantom Guide. This is just a free runner. You could change some of these to more Makotos, but I think Morgana is better in general because your opponent has to actually commit a board to kill Morgana instead of just a like 4K or something that can kill Makoto. Since this, if they field an oversize or whatever, you can just run. And last, we have 4 copies of Caroline. So Caroline has a bunch of irrelevant effects. On play, you can rest her to choose or to put the top card of your deck under her as a marker. And then whenever you play an event, you can sack the marker off in place of 1 stock. But we don't actually play any events, so that's not relevant. Her effect that we play her for is whenever you play a climax, you can pay 1 to look at up to 4 cards from the top of your deck. Choose a Thief, Twins, or card with Igor in its character with Igor in its card name and add it to hand. So this can grab every card in our deck, since they're all Thief or herself as a Twins. Downside, you cannot grab this off your Brainstorm or Drop Search because it's not a Thief, but we play 4 so that we can draw into it. You only need to see 1, really, and any extras are just blue level zone fodder. Or attackers. You can field like 1 in back row with your Brainstorm, and then if you draw a second one, you can put it in front row, so you get to resolve both of them, and then just crash it in or whatever. So that's our level 0 lineup. We're playing a total of 18 level 0s. It seems a bit high for a Persona deck, since we check level of cards. But we have enough ways to guarantee that we're not going to hit our 0s, that it's not a big deal in the long run. Next up is our level 1s. This is really easy. We're playing two copies of Makoto Nijima. It's a 1/0/65 that cannot frontal attack a higher level character. Biggest time this becomes an issue is against Sword Art. If they use Yuki combo or whatever, Makoto can't front into a Yuki. You barely ever actually field these though. These just sort of fill extra slots where you don't have your walls. And they're also good green stock targets off your stock soul. That's about all they do. Though they're already 6/5s, so they become like 9k with a backup and the 500 from your Brainstorm. So they're still reasonably large, and they can kill things or whatever. The important level 1 is 4 copies of Morgana as Mona. It's a deal. A lot of people seem really unsure about playing 4 copies of a level 1 backup, but when your entire goal is to do nothing but win board, you need 4 copies, because it helps you accomplish that goal. And there's nothing else that you can put in its slot that will also help you accomplish that goal. So this is just 2k backup if you have a Thief on board, which you always will, because the only thing you're ever protecting is a Thief. So that's 6 level 1s total. Also seems like a really low number, but this deck is not very conventional, so. Level 2s, we start with 1 copy of Protagonist as Joker, Phantom Thief of Hearts. This is another box topper promo. It's a 3k level 2 backup, and whenever you play the backup effect, you can, or you gain the ability to mandatory memory kick. Actually not mandatory, optional memory kick, even better, your opponent's character into their memory. So the main reason we play this is for Konosuba and the Sword Art, Attack in Waves and Link Strike matchups. Since Konosuba, Eris doesn't need to reverse and she doesn't get very large. So if you pop an Eris to memory, it can't restand. Crimson, I think it's the Crimson Demon Megumin. The burn 5, you have Cosmo Brainstorm in play. If you memory kick it, it doesn't hit Encore Step and doesn't get to burn you. Attack in Waves needs a full board of 5 characters. Also, you just memory kick Asuna Assist or whatever, and they can't swap anything with it. But they can't resolve anyway, because whatever you memory kick, it leaves them with only 4 characters on board. And Link Strike, you memory kick the Kirito, the Link Strike Kirito, and it can't resolve combo to bring something else out. So it just sort of hoses those matchups, which is great. We played 2 copies of Protagonist, Promise of Fate, or Prisoner of Fate, I'm sorry, I can't read upside down cards. This is a level assist, but it's only during your own turn, and it gives 1,000 times level. And the other effect is a global 500 to specifically the level 3 Joker. And it also gives the level 3 Joker the ability, when it reverses his battle opponent, you can look at the top card of your deck, leave it on top, or put it in waiting room. This is mainly just to make things really big on offense, so you can kill your opponent's early plays or level 3s or whatever. Because your level 3 effect does need your opponent's entire front board to die. So this will help you do that easier. We played 1 copy of Ryuji's Skull and Captain Kid. We don't play the Climax combo for his second effect, but his first effect, he gains 6,000 power when he attacks a level 3. So this is our only way of actually dealing with early plays, since we don't have any anti-change tech or early plays of our own. And our walls can't actually really get big enough to contest early plays. So this is how we get rid of early plays. It's just by like punching him with this. And if you put the assist behind him, he gets even bigger and can kill whatever you want. Next we play 4 copies of Haru as Noir All Out Attack. This is the main important card of the deck. So it gets -1 level if you have the level 3 Haru on your stage. Or I'm sorry, not on your stage, in your clock. So you can play it at level 1. And that's why we play so many drop searchers, is so that you can guarantee that you get both of these Harus to play and the Haru to clock. Since you need all that by level 1, in addition to the Climax. So you have some like really weird mulligans with this deck. But you're a 7,500 anyway, which is bigger than most level 1s. And when you play the Climax, which is a green stock soul, it's this one. When you play the Climax, you can put the top card of your deck into your stock, and you gain 1,500 power until the end of the opponent's turn. So you become a 9k. And nothing can really deal with a level 1 9k. Aaron needs like 2 globals on board. Even Sword Art like struggles to get that big without like Married Life pumps and stuff. And even if something does get that big, your 2k counters just put you over, and you kill them anyway. Soundless Voice is really the only thing that can consistently contest you, and Soundless Voice you probably beat anyway, just because that deck's not super consistent right now. Climax is a green stock soul, as I said. So you can use all that stock that you get from both of these to pay for Caroline, to build that canned advantage and stuff. And last, we play 1 copy of Futaba as Oracle, the Phantom Hacker. This is a 2,500 backup, and when you play its effect, you can pay 2 to shuffle your waiting room back into your deck. So it's a refresh without a refresh damage. And since we generate so much stock, we can actually afford to do that in this deck. And having extra backups at level 2 just helps us protect our Harus even longer if we need to. So that's a total of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 level 2s. And for our level 3s, we have 3 copies of Protagonist as Joker and Arsene. Heals on play, gains 500 for each other thief character you have, and has an effect that is not a Climax combo, conveniently. At the beginning of your Encore step, if your opponent's whole center stage is either empty or reversed, you can pay 3, discard a thief character, to, for every thief in your own front row, you reveal the top card of your deck, put it on the bottom of your deck, and then deal X damage to your opponent, where X is the level of the card you revealed. So if you have a full front row, for each Joker, you'll reveal, put on bottom, reveal, put on bottom, reveal, put on bottom, and you'll get a total of 3 burns. If you reveal a level 0 or a Climax, you deal 0 damage. But on anything else, you deal extra damage. So it's a really good like non-Climax finisher that also just gives you heals. And you'll have the stock to usually resolve 2 of them pretty easily because of Haru combo. So yeah, we don't play the 4th, mainly for space reasons. You're never actually tri-fielding this guy. You're usually just fielding 2. So we don't really need the 4th copy, just because we have enough time to get them. Next we play 4 copies of Haru as Noir and Milady. So this has to be in your clock to summon out the 2/1 Haru at level 1. So that's why we play 4 mainly. So we draw into it all the time. We would rather draw this than have to search it. But you can search it if you need to. So that you can clock it at level 1. The effects it has, it heals on play. So you can usually just field it in a slot at level 3 or whatever to heal. Other effect is when your opponent frontal attacks it, you can pay 2, discard 1. To gain the ability, the card across from this gets -2 soul. It's pretty good if you just need to live or whatever. You can bump a Yami down to 1 soul with its climax, and then you probably just eat 1, don't blow a climax or whatever, don't have to take shots. If your opponent is doing like Eris or something where they don't play a climax, you bump it down to 0. So you can, it's just sort of like if they're swinging lethal, you can bump them below lethal. It's not something you always use, but it has applications every now and then. So it's not a bad card. And last, we play 2 copies of Futaba as Oracle Navigation Duty. So most people don't really like this card in English. A lot of the thought behind it, so it has a climax combo. When your opponent frontal attacks, or it doesn't even say frontal attack, but it'll only work during a frontal attack. When your opponent attacks one of your thief characters, you can pay 1 and discard her climax, which is a pants. You can pay the cost to choose your opponent's character in battle, and it can't deal damage. The issue, so for it to be in battle, they have to front attack. That's why it doesn't work on anything else. Otherwise, they're not considered to be in battle. But the reason people don't like it is because so many of the good decks are hexproof in English right now, or you just don't have good timing. So Darkness is hexproof, Yami's hexproof, anything in Attack on Titan is hexproof. Sword Art has the ability to be hexproof, or they're just lots of small attacks instead of all on the same character. Your timing happens after Xenon's burns, so you don't really get good effect against Xenon. But I think the card is still worth playing for its other reason, like for its other effects. And in any matchup that's not hexproof, you do just sort of hose them with this. Also Joker, if you do this on a Joker's attack, then its Encore Step burns will still not deal damage because of your combo. But so it's also a global 1500 to all your thief characters, which lets you get reverses on offense and stay solid on defense. And whenever during your opponent's turn, if you take damage and don't cancel, you can look at the top card of your deck and leave it on top or put it in the waiting room. So you can sort of just like help your chances of canceling as you take damage. So she still keeps you alive. It's good against like Attack on Titan, Mikasa, since it deals burns of 1. If you take the 1, which is very likely, you get to scry, which can help your chances of canceling the next attack. Yami, if you take the shots of 1, you can scry to cancel the next like 3 or whatever. So it's still a really good card. I will say though, I don't play the pants because I play Futaba. I play Futaba because I play the pants anyway. Because we want the pants to, we'll go ahead and go to our level 3, or our climax lineup here. So we play a total of 9 level 3s. And then our climax lineup is 4 stock soul and 4 pants. So we play the pants to loop the stock soul so that we can resolve Haru combo as often as possible and keep our Harus unkillable, basically, and generate more stock. The Futaba is just in here because we play the pants anyway, and it gives us good effects. It also gives us more level 3s to reveal on Joker burns. So, usually going into level 1 or whatever, you're gonna want your field to look something like those, and maybe like a runner that lived, or like a drop search that you play to grab one of your pieces this turn, and like a brainstorm in back, or maybe you just have like one of these in back instead. Something like that. Like this is a really good board at level 1. Then you can play this. You get a stock. You can blind stock, or not blind stock. You want to stock soul first usually, and you'll stock soul like one of these, and then you can blind stock, pay out a blind stock with her to plus a card, and then crash this, nobody really cares. And then these are just really big, and your opponent can't kill them. And hopefully you can grab, like, one of these off of her, which is really nice. Otherwise, I mean, usually these are hard to kill. Like, most decks are just really gonna struggle. Yellow-red Persona 5 can get there with the 2-1 Joker, because he's a level 2 and kind of big anyway. But most other decks just can't, unless they're pumping, like, a lot of resources into one lane. So against those decks, you do need the counter, but oh well. And the other thing, since these don't need to reverse, if you do end up leaving, like, some random character on board or whatever, and your opponent gets a reverse off, it's not the end of the world. Like, they got 1+, whatever. You don't need to reverse back, so even if Attack on Titan kills a dude, you are perfectly fine with that. Like, you don't care if they maneuver gear their stuff. Optimally, they don't get the maneuver gear because it lets them hand fix, and you don't want them hand fixing. But, you know, it's whatever. Usually what'll happen, the deck pushes really good damage because you open up board. So you're playing a climax and direct attacking. So that's 3 soul. Plus we run 9 2s and 9 3s, which is 18 triggers. Plus all of our climaxes have at least 1 trigger. So 22 single soul triggers and 4 double soul triggers means you might hit 4 as well. Like, it's not unlikely. So you push good damage, and like on first deck before your opponent gets to refresh usually, so they're not super compressed. So you'll usually just open up a damage gap that way, and that's how the deck wins. And then like Joker, your goal is usually not to like Hail Mary your opponent with Jokers. It's normally just to like chip them down with like 1s and 2s and kill them. But there is a play with the deck that involves the promo that I mentioned earlier, where you can play the promo. If you have like brainstorms and stuff, you can brainstorm, mill your deck down really low, and then play the promo. And if you reveal like a level 2 or 3, you can put it on the bottom of your deck. And then when you hit the, say, I'll pull some cards out to demonstrate. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, and like 4. So we'll say this is our deck or whatever. And we play him and reveal, and it's Joker. You can put him on the bottom of your deck, so then you'll go trigger check, trigger check, trigger check. These will be your stock. And you'll have 1 card in deck. So when you resolve Joker, you'll go reveal, burn 3, put it on bottom, reveal, burn 3, put it on bottom, reveal, burn 3, put it on bottom. And then for your second Joker, you'll reveal, burn 3, put it on bottom, so on and so forth. And you'll just deal 3 a bunch of times, or 2 a bunch of times, or whatever level you put on bottom, which is really good for killing someone. Like, you can kill someone from level 2 easy with that. It's not something you go for every game, but it is something you have, like, the option to do, and it can kill people. You can even do it from further away than 4 cards if you play the 2-1 level assist down, since it lets you top check and leave on top or put in waiting room, so that can mill, like, an additional 2 cards. So that can do it at 6 cards in deck. And you'll usually have enough stock that you can, like, brainstorm twice to get cards out, and if you, like, play a stock soul with one of these on board, you can mill 4 more, and just get, like, you can get a lot of cards out of your deck in order to pull this combo off pretty easily. Though it's not something you always want to go for, because it's sort of a, like, all-in play. But, like, if you do miss, the deck has so many just, like, defensive cards that it's possible you just don't die anyway, which I really like about the deck. The only difference between this list that I'm showing you that I've been testing and the list that won Chicago is I play 4 of the Joker drop search and 1 copy of the promo. And the list that won today plays 3 and 2. So, yeah. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions... before I go, actually, I'll mention a couple cards. 0-0 Makoto Clock Swap, because I know people are going to ask me about that. I forget the exact name of the card, but it's the level 0 on play, give a character 1,000 a level, and on play, discard a card, choose a thief in your clock, add it to hand, put the top card of your deck into your clock. I used to play those instead of Drop Search, but it turns out they just aren't good enough at getting you the cards when you need them. So Drop Search, we put in over it. Because you're not relying on cards being in clock that you need, you're just going to search them. Other card that we're considering is the Persona 4 version E trial deck. It's an event, Musha training, I believe. It's a 2/2. You just salvage 2. This deck has very little like selective card search other than the Drop Searcher and Brainstorm. So when you go into level 3 and have stock, being able to play the 2/2 event and like grab this and a Joker or whatever would be really nice. We're just not sure how to fit it into the deck. But with like runners and backups, we have enough red already, so that's not really an issue. It's just what to take out. So yeah, I think those are the main considerations that are still going in the deck. Otherwise, I'm convinced that this deck is just nuts. Like, deck is really good. Has very few just like bad matchups, since you even wall out Sword Art and stuff like that. So yeah, give this deck a try, please. I really like it. I'll potentially playing it in Atlanta. So yeah. Thanks for watching, comment, subscribe, and I'll hopefully have another real video up soon. Talk to you guys later.